What's up, everybody, and thank you for listening to Mastering the Mindset. My name is Dariusdotch, and I'm an actor, hip-hop artist, and fitness and life coach. And I'm here to personally help you train and improve your mindset so that you can, 1, become the best version of yourself mentally, and 2, gain focus and motivation to be able to take action and achieve the success in life that you want and deserve. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel, and at the end of this episode, if you liked it, please share it with a friend or a loved one or someone who would benefit from hearing this message. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm ready to go on this journey with you, and that journey begins now. All right, so today we're just going to jump right in and talk about maximizing focus. And I'm going to give you 5 keys, 5 strategies to help you do this. And I'll start by saying this, and I say this often, but in order to get the life you want, you have to take action. And anything that gets in the way of you taking action is getting in the way of the life you want. We as humans, unfortunately, are really, really good at distracting ourselves. And what's the opposite of a distraction? Focus. But we are literally masters at distracting ourselves. So if we can get better and limit the amount of distractions we cause on our own selves and get better at finding that focus, it will allow us to be able to take more action and get things done, which in the long run gets us closer to the life we want. So let's get to it. 5 keys to maximize focus. 1, and this one is something that we all know, and it is stay away from your phone as much as possible. Literally, try to stay away from your phone as much as you possibly can, especially in the morning. You need to try and focus for as long as possible without looking at your phone in the morning. 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. If you can do that, it will help you start your day and be proactive rather than reactive. You don't want to be in reactive mode, because what happens is you feel like you have to catch up, like you're putting out all these mini fires throughout the day. And I have a fun fact for you. So guess how many times you check your phone on average every day? Want to take a guess? On average, you check your phone 150 times a day. 150. First of all, that's crazy and way too damn high. And second, studies show that spending a large amount of time looking at a small screen on your phone causes more stress and more anxiety. Looking at your phone causes more stress and anxiety. And ironically, studies show that looking at bigger screens like your TV causes way less stress. So, how do we spend less time looking at our phones? It's literally important for your health. Because let's be honest, 150 times a day, that's an addiction. Between Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and notifications and emails and blogs and games on your phone and videos, all that screen time adds to our stress and anxiety levels. So please figure out how to spend way less time on your phone. The distraction is real. If that means that you have to put your phone in another room, do that. Have a place in your house where your phone lives, and only that room. Now, maybe not all day, because obviously we need our phones, but when you're trying to focus, when you need to not be distracted, you have to do what you have to do and figure out some way to not look at that damn phone. Because 150? That's crazy. So that's 1. Stay away from your phone as much as possible. 2, prepare your brain. Studies have been found that your brain doesn't like switching tasks. Your brain will have a natural resistance when you switch from one thing to another. And the reason why is because it uses more energy to switch from one task to another. So if you're working on your taxes and then you start grading papers, there's going to be a resistance because your brain has to use more energy to gain that focus on a different task. And this definitely makes sense because I literally go through this every day. I have to plan my day by the hour. And if I don't, it's hard to keep focused. Like today, My daily plan is to work on writing this episode for an hour, then respond to emails and texts from clients for 30 minutes, then record a different episode for 30 minutes, then work on content for another hour, then the gym, then laundry and cleaning for 45 minutes, then rehearsal. I literally have all that written out with the time of the day and with the time it's going to take to do those tasks right next to each other. And know this, you should expect that going from one thing to the next will a lot of times not feel good for your brain. You're going to feel resistance. So be prepared mentally. Also, know this, and this is very important. For the first 4 to 6 minutes, your brain is going to continue to resist this task switch. So one of the things you can do is dip your toes in. Figure out a way to ease in or to softly start. If that means you have to do the easiest part of that particular task first, or if you have to literally go very slow on purpose for a few minutes and pace yourself, your brain will need that ramp up period before you can get past that 4 to 6 mark, the 4 to 6 minute mark of most resistance. So that's 2. Prepare your brain. Know that resistance is coming. Plan what you're doing. And know that that 4 to 6 minute thing exists. Be conscious of that. So that's number 2. Number 3, eliminate as many distractions as you can. And again, this is something I'm literally working on in real time. But how many different types of notifications do you have on your phone? Email, Facebook, Instagram. Are you on Tinder? Hinge? Now, I ain't go front. I was on Tinder for a little bit. Hell, and Hinge. Probably for like a month. And I had to delete it. It was getting distracting. And I saw a lot of people I knew on there too, which was funny to see. I always laugh when I saw somebody I knew on there. Not laughing at them, just laughing at the fact that this is what life is right now. Anyway, get rid of these distracting notifications. When you have that time set aside and is dedicated to putting in the work, those notifications will pull you away and pull you out of it. Another distraction we have, another really big one, other people. What's up, what's up, what's up? I want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for listening to this episode and to also let you know that this podcast is 100% donation driven, which means it's completely funded by you, the listener. So, if you like the content I have to offer, I would love it if you can make a donation and you get to pick the amount. I left links in the description of the video as well as my homepage. You can choose which way benefits you the best to donate. And if you need more options, please feel free to email me at dariusdotch@gmail.com. That's dariusdotch@gmail.com. Again, thank you so much for being here and let's get back to it. How can you let other people know that this is a time you need to be left to focus? If you're at work, you can use headphones and you don't even have to be listening to anything, because I'm the kind of person that I can't listen to anything with lyrics when I'm trying to work. I get too distracted and I start either really listening to the song or I start singing the lyrics and I can't focus. But just by having headphones on, especially if you have the kind that goes over your head, people will more likely not want to bother you out of respect. So how can you let other people know that you can't have distractions right now? How can you find out what those distractions are and eliminate them? How do you tell your friends or your significant other or your coworkers, your kids, that, hey, I need this time to focus? So figure that out. Eliminate those distractions and protect that focus. That's number 3. Number 4, stop multitasking. There are studies, multiple studies, that show that multitasking is actually worse. You're better off focusing on one thing at a time. It's proven that not only will you get the same 2 or more tasks that you're working on done faster, but you'll be more efficient as well and make way less mistakes because your focus isn't being pulled in multiple directions. And actually, studies also show that multitasking ain't even real. It ain't even real. Your brain literally just goes from one task to another, and it can't focus on more than one thing at a time. So you're really just switching your focus back and forth from one thing to another, from one thing to another, from one thing to another, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, but one thing to another. And that is not the same. That's not the same as doing two things at once. And what happens when you do this, when you put your brain through switching back and forth, there's this thing called a cognitive switching penalty. And that means that you lose some of the efficiency and you make mistakes and you don't do it as well. So stop with the multitasking. I know it might feel like it works, or you may think it's better, but studies show the exact opposite. Do one thing at a time and then move to the next one when you finish that one. And number 5, have a notepad ready by you at all times. And take personal notes or brain dump or jot things down, whatever you want to call it. And you have a pen and pad ready to write things down whenever things come up in your mind. You write them down right then and there. And that's the important part, writing it down immediately and moving on. So let's say you're doing the laundry and you think, oh, hey, I got to respond to that email. Write it down. Or if you think, I should purchase this computer bag for traveling before my next trip comes up. Jot it down. Or I need to add sugar to my grocery list. Write it down. Right? I can't forget to make this payment. Write it down. Right? This is a really big tip and it's important. And it seems so simple. And you might think that you don't need to do it because it's simple, right? And that could be part of the problem. Part of the problem a lot of people have, not just with focus, but with being productive in general. We can think that things need to be really complex for them to be effective for some reason. But if you have anything floating around in your head, no matter how simple or how very important they are taking up energy in your brain. And you want to leave your brain with as much energy as possible. So writing these things down will free up some of that energy. So put it on a piece of paper and then get back to being focused. And I can tell you from experience that this literally works, especially if you have a daily plan, which I also highly, highly recommend. I can't stress enough how important it is to have a daily plan written out before you start your day. And when I have my pen and my pad and I can just add things directly to my daily plan, that way I have all the things I need to get done, all the things I have as reminders for all in one place. Writing things down is such an underrated thing. Think about it like this. And you might have heard me give this analogy before, but think about doing a complex math problem. Wouldn't it be easier if you got out pencil and paper and worked out that problem that way? Instead of trying to do it all in your head, this multiple step math problem in your brain, it's way easier on paper. You can see it. You can visually work on it. You have it in front of you materialized. And we know this. So why do we think that all the complex aspects of our life and all the things that come up in our busy ass days can be solved in our head? If you can have a pen and pad next to you and just write things down when they pop up in your head, you'll be able to get so much done. And this way, when you're single tasking, not multitasking, and some things come up, you just write it down and go back to what you were doing. You don't switch tasks in the middle of doing what you're already doing. No, just write down whatever that thought was and finish the task you're already working on. And that way you won't forget the thought, because that's real too. I hate that. Because if you forget it, then that's more time and energy trying to remember whatever the hell that thought was that you had a few hours ago. So that's 5. Have a pen and pad with you at all times. So again, these are 5 keys to help you maximize that focus. 1, stay away from your phone as much as you possibly can, even if you have to leave it in another room. 2, prepare your brain. Plan out your day, plan out those tasks, and also don't forget to ease into it. Your brain is going to resist for that first 4 to 6 minutes. Don't let it stop you. Prepare for it. Be aware that it's going to happen. 3, eliminate as many distractions as you can. The notifications, the emails, Tinder, Tell your friend and your family members that you have to focus. Think of as many ways to eliminate as many distractions as you can. Notifications is a big one of them. 4, stop multitasking. Studies show that you're actually being less productive and you're not as efficient. You will make more mistakes. Cognitive switching does this. And 5, have a pen and pad ready at all times. Write down those thoughts that pop up in your head. Don't let those thoughts pull away from your focus. Write them down and get right back to the task at hand. So that's what I got for you today. If you like this episode, please share it with somebody that can benefit from this, somebody who is a friend or a family member, somebody who has goals and is trying to improve their lives. So thank you again, and let's get it in.